Hi class, this is course 2, lesson 66, ratio problems involving totals. Okay, so we've done ratio problems before where we make a ratio table and you solve a proportion. These are the same type of problems, only now we will have a total. So here's an example for you to put in your notes. The ratio of boys to girls in an assembly was 5 to 4. If there were 180 students in the assembly, how many girls were there? Okay, so we're going to start by making a ratio table. And we know we're going to have a ratio column, and we're going to have an actual column. And we are going to have some labels. So we know the ratio was boys to girls. And I can fill that information in. Boys to girls, 5 to 4. So I'm going to put the 5 here and the 4 here. Boys to girls, 5 to 4. If there were 180 students in the assembly, okay, so that's not the ratio, that's the actual. But what is it? They didn't tell us it was boys, they didn't tell us it was girls. It's students. So that's the total. So we need to add a total row, and we need to put 180 actual students in that total. So then it says, how many girls were there? So in the girls actual column, I'm going to put my variable. Now, I need to write a proportion. So I need to have 2 complete rows filled in. One of them has to include my variable, and the other one has to include information from each of the ratio and the actual columns. Now, there is no way for me to know how many actual boys are in there if I don't know how many actual girls are in the assembly. However, my ratio total, if I have 5 boys and 4 girls, I know that there are 9 total students in my ratio. So this I find by adding my ratio together. Now I have enough information to create a proportion out of that information. So we are going to write 4 over 9 has to equal x over 180. Now we can cross multiply and divide. We can also sometimes luck into what number would I multiply times 9 to get 180. You do it whichever way suits you the best. In this case, just to make sure that we remember how to use cross products, I will illustrate that. We will take 180 times 4, 0, 32, 720. And then remember, then we will divide by the number that we didn't include. 9 goes into 72. 8 times 72, 0, so 80. So there are 80 girls in the assembly. Now if I needed to find out how many boys also, I could just subtract and find out that there were 100 boys. One more problem for you. Now, I'm going to leave this optional to you. If you feel like you know what to do, you don't need to write this in your notes. You may watch the video just to make sure that you know what to do. This is optional at this point. The ratio of football players to soccer players. Okay, so I know I'm going to have football players and soccer players. And I'm going to have a ratio because they said ratio. And I'm going to have an actual column. Now, not always will you need total rows. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Just depends on what information they give you or ask you for. So the ratio of football players to soccer players was 5 to 7. If the football and soccer players in the room totaled 48. Okay, that's easy. They told me it totaled. How many were football players? So I'm going to put an X here. And I'm going to add this. 5 plus 7 equals 12. So my proportion is not going to include this row at all. Okay? So what I'm going to write then is 5 over 12 equals x over 48. This 7 was there so that I could add 5 plus 7 to get my total. Okay, it's very important that we include it, but we don't need to use that information to write the proportion. So let's see, in this case I know that 12 times 4 is 48, so I will multiply 5 times 4 and I will get 20 football players. So there you have it. 2 examples on ratio problems with totals. Okay? Please let me know if you have questions. I'll see you in class.